A warm welcome to this hour of female entrepreneurship. My name is Claudia Rougoor. I'm a civil engineer and I'm working with drones. Well, what does it mean? As a starter, I can tell you it's very interesting. I founded my company about 2 years ago and I'm now busy with historical monuments, which means churches, castles and all other listed monuments. What do I do? Well, I use drone pilots in order to fly above the buildings, take aerial pictures so that we can detect damages very easily, very efficiently and without long preparation time. Using this data, we can also create 3D models in software or documentate your building and in addition perform digital scaffolding planning. In my first career, after I received my Master in Civil Engineering from a technical university in Germany, I worked for more than 2 decades in chemical plant industry, which means I started with cost estimating, then continued with project controls, and for the last 4 years I was the CFO of a General Electric branch close to Frankfurt here in Germany. I'm now 50 years young and I'm also a drone pilot for 3 years, which is very useful in order to explain your clients the advantages of drone technology.
Mit der Drohne kann man Bauwerke sehr schnell, sehr effizient, kostengünstig und mit geringer Vorbereitungszeit inspizieren, kann dadurch Maßnahmen für die Sanierung beispielsweise sehr schnell planen, natürlich auch akut Schäden entdecken und umgeht dieses Thema Arbeitssicherheit, Unfallrisiko komplett. Zangano kommt aus dem Spanischen und heißt übersetzt die männliche Biene, also die Drohne. Wir haben dort die Stadtkirche Langen beflogen und man konnte von unten sehen, dass infolge eines Sturms die Turmspitze abgebrochen war. Und mit der Drohne waren so tolle Aufnahmen verfügbar anschließend, sodass genau diese Bruchstelle von den Architekten begutachtet werden konnte. Die Kunden sind völlig begeistert und überrascht, wie qualitativ hochwertig und mit welcher Detailtiefe diese Drohnenaufnahmen ihnen zur Verfügung gestellt werden. Sicherlich auch, wenn man ihnen dann zeigen kann, dass sie halt nicht nur reine Luftaufnahmen zur Verfügung gestellt bekommen, sondern dass diese Aufnahmen auch mit entsprechender Software zu Punktwolken, zu 3D-Modellen weiterverarbeitet werden können, aus denen Sie selbst direkt Vermessungen vornehmen können, die Sie in Ihre eigene Software einspielen können und dann recht einfach, recht schnell ein Aufmaß, eine Leistungsbeschreibung für die nachgelagerten Handwerksunternehmen beispielsweise anfertigen können.
Why I'm self-employed for more than 2 years? Well, that's quite easily. After 2 decades within big companies, I really was looking for urge to have a job position that gives me more job satisfaction. And therefore, as a civil engineer, I wanted to go back to my roots, going back to architecture, to monuments, to civil. So therefore, I decided for the next 20 years I really start building up a business on my own, which gives me the opportunity to combine all that in one. Let's talk about milestones. Milestones for me were the following ones. First, over a couple of months, I collected all the ideas I had, what I could burn for. And then I evaluated them with a coach in order to become a more clearer picture. I then started with a lean startup, with a proof of concept, with the first project at the church in my home community. That is a different one than the one we see right now, but that's life. I then also participated in competitions for young founders, for startups. Why? Well, of course, I had to challenge my business idea and, of course, myself as well. That was a huge success because I won 2 prizes in 2018, one that had been sponsored by the German Ministry of Economy for the business model and organization, and the other one in 2019 had been a prize of a drone association for my startup idea. So besides project execution, that of course was a good way really to get the path or to get the process working and find your own path forward. So that is also one of my big hacks for you. Go and participate in competitions. It really helps to improve your idea and to get forward with your project. In addition to the previous hack, I can tell you it's very important to build up a professional network. A network that really helps you and that is always there in order to support you. From my point of view, I also chose to get more experts in my network, which I can offer to the client as a whole package, meaning architects, stone cutters, roofer, conservators, so that we can really treat each building as a whole single, unique monument for everything it stands for. And of course, you need to burn for your passion. For me, it's I want to protect all these monuments. They tell our history, they tell our values, they represent our culture, and therefore we must preserve them for the decades to come. Quite important is also that you speak about your idea, you speak about your business, meaning start writing articles for magazines, let them be published, and go to fairs, to annual meetings, talk about your business. One big learning out of 2020, which has not been an easy year for us all over the world, was go digital. For me, it meant going digital on stages, representing my topic, my business case, my passion on a more general matter, reducing the facts and explaining drone inspection with more general words and more examples so that everybody can understand the advantages of drone inspection and is therefore then as enthusiastic as I am using drones for historical monuments and going this way together with me. Let us talk about strength. Typical female strength in entrepreneurship. Well, quite obvious. Women have better communication skills, which they can easily adopt to different stakeholders. And besides, I'm really convinced that women show better managerial skills when it comes to finance. For sure, one of the most important ones, women are more reflecting, or let's say reflect for 10 seconds more, compared to men that more easily jump over the cliffs. And finally, from my personal point of view, as I had been working within a male-dominated industry for 2 decades, it's quite simple. I also speak the male language if necessary. I understand how men are thinking and I can adopt it to the situation if required. And that also means you're not small, stand up. We are women, we are strong superwomen, and be convinced of that. That is really important. When it comes to investors, I'm not the best person to ask for my own experience. I was lucky enough to have enough capital stock to finance my company. But of course, when talking and discussing with other founders, it became obvious that it is really important that you prepare your meetings with the bank profoundly and take a coach that you help in order to get the bank convinced that your business idea is really worth being financed, or for investors that they invest for your business. Before we talk about how to realize ideas, let's tell you what is my conclusion. My conclusion from the usage of aerial photos for the inspection, the visual inspection of all these buildings. Well, what I always tell my customers, it's not a single day project. It is something which you must do regularly. On an annual basis or biannually, you need to repeat exactly the same flight. And that is quite easily because you can program automatic flight plans on drones and you can repeat the flights over and over again. That is the biggest advantage I can offer, because then on a pixel basis you can compare the aerial pictures and see the changes of the roof, of a high wall, or of other areas which you cannot simply inspect like that without having the view from the top. And that is something that offers big, huge advantages, which we never had in the past. Because now, with all the digital possibilities we have, we can start building up forecasts on the direction or the changes certain building material will show over the time. So therefore, be open-minded and use modern technology for all the class-listed monuments we have. Because one thing is clear, it's not possible that we leave them on their own. We need to protect them, we need to preserve them. We cannot imagine Germany without the castle Neuschwanstein in Bavaria. So therefore, old and new perfectly fits together. Finally, let's talk about how to realize ideas. Well, I think the best is just do it, test it, and adopt it according to the experience and the feedback you receive, because feedback is really important. Therefore, always use a coach. That is the best feedback you can receive. And be courageous. Don't be afraid of anything. What can happen? Nothing. Only maybe a small adoption to your idea. And remember, we are women, strong superwomen. Never forget that. To close it, think big.